We are recording. I am going to do this video on 15 headphones and show some of the measurements I've done, and maybe we can learn something from this. Who knows? Anyway, these are fairly recent, most of them. Some of the older ones are gone. Got new ones coming. The new ones coming that are not here, that'll be featured in separate reviews, or the new great OGH1 that made Tree made in Brooklyn, and another one is going to be Music Hall DB portable headphone. So anyway, let's get to what we have here and see what we got. 15 headphones. Now let's just take the ones in front first and get them out of the way. In fact, let's take this one right here. This is a modular headphone. AI TMA2. Is it TMA2X or TMA2? Anyway, it's modular, and yeah, the earpieces are separate. The cable is separate. I've got a couple different coiled cables. Pretty nice, actually. Partly coiled. And the speaker units are different types. I've got the Vibrant and I've got the Warm. And both of them sound fairly familiar. Anyway, completely modular. Good way to go. Let's see. Looking at the TMA here for a second. See what we have. Here's I'll just do the Vibrant here. We look at this chart right here. The green line is the only thing that really matters. That's the what I call the EQ correction curve for the frequency response, which means that has a little bit of emphasis down here, 4 or 5 decibels in the upper bass, and some recess in the lower treble around it's like about 3 to 4 kilohertz, maybe about 8 decibels or so. I call this a DJ type of sound. Other people would maybe call it something else. Anyway, it's easily treatable or fine for portable use, just the way it is. It's modular. Nice headphone, TMA2. Let's see what we have next. TMA2. We have the Bose QC25. And this is the ultimate noise canceling headphone. Some of the things I like about this headphone are the fact that the sound is fairly neutral in active mode. The battery lasts for a very long time, good 40 hours in active mode. It seems to be very well made. Feels and looks like a really deluxe headphone. Extremely comfortable, completely around ears. A really great headphone for $300, I think. Good engineering marvel. The sound ultimately may not equal the best of hi-fi, just because I think they're using a DSP in here, not just for the noise canceling, but also to smooth out that response. So I don't think it's probably the best in hi-fi, but actually it's quite good, and maybe all you'd need for portable use, traveling on an airplane or whatever. QC25. I like it. It's the AKG K553, and let's look at the curve on the K553. This is pretty amazing. I got this off Massdrop for like $120. It has round pads, but they go around my ears pretty well. I think basically they go around the top of the ear, and then the bottom of the pad may sit on the earlobe, but in my case that's not a problem at all. Cable's a little bit too long, but it's not detachable. But for $120 and for this kind of sound, this is the curve I did on it. It's let's see if this camera's going to focus at all. Maybe not. Anyway, the you can see there's like plus or minus 2 decibels here. This is really terrific, and it doesn't even drop off. I got right out to 10 kilohertz there. It's virtually flat. So that's an incredible response, and for a low-cost headphone, seems to be very well made. Lots of metal there, a little bit of plastic, nice squishy ear pads. It's really a great headphone. AKG K553. I think I could say highly recommended on that one. All right, let's get to the B&W P7 and the B&W P5 Series 2. This is the Series 2. There's really no difference between this and the original series as far as I can tell. Not sure the sound has improved at all like they say. But anyway, there it is. These cables are detachable internally when you take the ear pads off because they just pull off. They're magnetically attached. Anyway, the P7's a round ear. It's a real snug fit and very isolating. And there's a high degree of isolation with the P5 also, even though it's on ear. These are pretty comfortable. And the P5, of course, very slimline, so it makes it's not obtrusive when you're wearing it. It's $400, $300 for the P5. That might be a little questionable for price. Quality seems pretty good. Cables are, I'd say, barely okay with the P7 and extremely thin with the P5. Extremely thin. And they do break. I've broke 2 so far. So let's take a real fast look at the P7 and the P5 if we can. Here's the P7 response. Not good. Just not good at all. But that's what I measure with the P7. You know, it's plus or minus more than 6. So anyway, the P5, much better. Looks like about plus or minus 4.5 to 5 here. Not bad. A little recessed in the upper treble there compared to the average headphone, but not bad. So anyway, there's the P5 and the P7. Let's put these way out of the way here. Now here's another one from Sennheiser, the HD8 DJ. I don't know why I decided to buy this. It's $400, $390. It's a DJ headphone. It's a round ear, but it has those, you know, twisty things that get the ear cup out of your way. The problem with the HD8 DJ is I expected better from Sennheiser. But let's take a look real quick. HD8 DJ. We have a whopping big recess here in the mid treble, centered around 4 kilohertz. We're down about 11 to 12 decibels there. So it's a pretty dull sound, unless you, put you a lower treble boost in there, if that's even possible. So, so much for the HD8 DJ. I don't even like the way this thing is built. It just feels kind of clunky and makes all kinds of crackling noises. Yeah. Now here's a Shure SRH-144. This is the first of these tiny on-ear things that they've made. Looks really cheap and feels kind of cheap, but it works. I actually used it for a month and it held up. I just put this on there to identify which side in the dark because it's there's no shape to it. Anyway, it works okay. It's a portable headphone, but let's see what it sounds like. Let's see. SRH-144. And, we're a little bass shy here. I put in a 6 decibel boost down here at 40 hertz. And there's quite a bit of treble recess there from anywhere from about 5 kilohertz up to 10 kilohertz or higher. Above that, it's kind of hard to tell because the headphones are extremely irregular above 10 kilohertz. You compare a whole bunch of them together and response is just all over the map. So it does have extended response, but wouldn't be the best. Here's a nifty little headphone, Beyerdynamic DT1350, and I've added the T51P ear pads, which are soft and conform very well to the ears, which the original 1350 ear pads and also the facelift ear pads do not. They are stiff, not really good for portable use. But anyway, the curve I did on this DT1350 with these ear pads Looks about like this. I've always considered this to be kind of a weird sound. They put Tesla drivers in these little tiny ear cups, and I don't know. But the response curve doesn't look too bad. It's about +or -3 up here in the treble, and I don't know. We got some emphasis down here in the lower mid-range, upper bass. I'd say that's up around, that's up around 300 to 500 hertz, that emphasis. Anyway, a strange kind of sound, but it lends itself to fixing with the equalizer, and it's very tiny ear cups for that Tesla driver, so right out of the box it's gonna probably sound pretty strange. It's a very niche market for that headphone. Here is the B&O H6. This is the Bluestone edition. I've had 4 of these so far. And this one, these are very comfortable. Fits around my ear pretty well, at least the top part. And very comfortable headphone, very well made. $400, probably a little overpriced. But the sound is a little strange. B&O H6. Let's dial that one up here. Here we got pretty good emphasis down here in the mid to upper bass. Some de-emphasis in the around 200 so hertz gives it just a slightly more spacious sound than what it really should have. But then up in the treble we have a huge emphasis at 9 kilohertz, and which drops off rapidly at around 4,500 hertz here, about -5. So the problem with this is that with the recess that they have around 4.5 kilohertz and then that big emphasis at 9, you notice that emphasis at 9 kilohertz a lot more because of that recess, so it has a real zingy sound up on top, which is not really good for long-term listening, I don't think. Very popular headphone though. Here's probably one of the most unique and strange headphones ever created. This is a Flare Audio R1. I got this sample from Flare Audio because I didn't think they were ever going to get it promoted anywhere. This has been described by reviewers as having an insane amount of clamping force. That's insane, like INSANE, and it really is beyond incredible. The sound of this is even more incredible, and that, I'd say it essentially has no treble. But, you know, here's the curve I did on it to make it sound normal. I had to do a huge recess on that spike around about 600 hertz, and then everything else is just the treble just dropped off to nothing. That's like a 20 decibel boost over here at around 5 kilohertz in the mid treble. Unbelievable. But the manufacturers didn't really want to discuss that at all. They just claim they have an invention for some kind of special sound flow in here, and that's it. That's their program, and that was all they wanted to talk about. So that's all I know, is that that's how it sounds. So now, let's see. Oh, here's one of my favorites. Musical Fidelity MF200. I got this from Musical Fidelity Direct. And this is a fairly strong clamp, but I got used to it pretty easy. Got ear pads are pretty nice, pretty soft. Not as soft and squishy as some of these deluxe things, but still very well made and soft enough. So once you get used to the clamp on here and everything else, it's pretty much like any other on-ear headphone. Very nice build and very nice looks. I really like that headphone a lot. The sound of the MF200 looks kind of like this, and a little emphasis over in the bass, but that's not going to bother anybody. The treble is just a little, well, we're down, we have a peak of about 8 decibels at 7 kilohertz, and then at 8 kilohertz we're down quite a bit, so I boosted it by about 6. So we're looking at 6 and 8 is 14. Looking at a 14 decibel drop from 7 kilohertz to 8 kilohertz. So you'll notice that when you listen to it. And even if, no matter what your hearing is, whether it's different than the next guy's, you're going to hear the 14 decibel drop. And anyway, with the equalizer I can fix that, but for a lot of people maybe they won't enjoy that a whole lot. But I love the headphone. It's just very nicely made, looks great, and guarded recommendation there. So what do we have now? Oh, here here's the matte black version of the king of headphones, the V-Moda M100. And that headphone, they have the XL pads for this if you need more comfort or a bigger fit around the ears, but I get along with these just fine. Anyway, king of headphones, very, very well made, military grade, click fold mechanism, very compact even in the carry case, and sound, just a little bit of emphasis down here through the mid to upper bass, and perhaps a little recess around the presence region and around 4 kilohertz in the treble. So you get a really warm sound with this that's a lot of people think is bassy. However, I love it, and it's a king of headphones, so there you go. AudioQuest Nighthawk. AudioQuest Nighthawk, let's see what that looks like here. Now, I did this on the iPhone using, iPhone and iPad using the Oppo HA2 DAC and amp, and I got about a plus or minus 4.5 decibels here between the bass and the treble. So in other words, a tilt towards the bass and away from the treble. However, when I did this on Fubar 2000 on the PC, I got plus or minus 2 decibels and much flatter sound. But anyway, underneath whatever the so-called frequency response is, you've got an incredible sound. Just amazing musical detail. It doesn't have the spiky treble detail that makes you think that it's highly detailed like some headphones do. It has just musical detail from one end to the next. It's a really great headphone, extremely comfortable, really deluxe build. The liquid wood ear cups, love this thing. Comes with 2 cables. I got the little skinny cable on here, and then standard cable for home use is thicker than that, much thicker. And it's an AudioQuest special cable. So they, when it comes to cables, AudioQuest knows what they're doing. They are the best. And I've run that, when I run that on the PC, I use either AudioQuest DAC amp, the mini DAC Dragonfly, or I use the micro streamer from HRT. All right, we have now the Grado PS1000, and over here we have the Grado SR325. These are both the E versions, the newer versions, and I gotta make sure I don't run out of time here. The SR325, its curve looks like this. So the famous Grado 2 kilohertz emphasis, I EQ'd that down a little bit, boosted the bass 4 decibels down here around 40 hertz, no big deal. And the treble, looks like I got about a +2, -5, so about plus or minus 3.5 decibels in the upper treble. That won't bother a lot of people. It's a great sound, very hi-fi, and some people might think it's a little bit bright, but what the heck. The PS1000, $1,700 headphone, you would expect that to be absolutely incredible. And however, this is the EQ curve I did on that. I can't say much about it except it's bright and a little uneven in the treble, and has quite an emphasis in the upper bass and de-emphasis in the lower bass, according to the average headphone. Some people swear by this thing. It's just the greatest sound in the world. Other people think it doesn't have much bass, which it does, of course. Test tones will prove that out. Anyway, pretty interesting headphone. I would rate, as far as getting the maximum out of these, I would rate the PS1000E and that AudioQuest Nighthawk as being 2 of my very favorite headphones. Of course, can't say enough about the king of headphones here, the V-Moda M100. And currently I'm playing with this Musical Fidelity MF200, which I like a great deal. So there we are, 15 headphone review. Thank you very much.